What's going on, people? So much like my last review, the one that I recorded before this one, which might be the one that gets most recently uploaded before this one, because that would make sense. Either way, this isn't going to be like the standard one because obviously I have two shoes here, so it's going to be more of like a comparison sort of thing. Though there is going to be a review in here as well, it's probably going to run a little longer, you know what I'm saying? Because I got to do both sides of this. So there's that. Sooner or later, I'll get back to doing like normal length reviews and stuff and just doing that sort of thing. But you just gotta switch it up every so often because that's how things work, you know what I'm saying? So, these right here, right? Let's get you a picture of the side of the box, right? And this is, what is this color? Oh yeah, orange pulse or something like that. Either way. So you got that going on here. And then this one over here, right? You've seen those before, possibly, because they're not new. But I'm going to be comparing slightly with those because that's the CC one, this being the CC2. It just kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? So let's go ahead and jump on into things. Let me double check something here. It said orange something and then whatever else. All right, cool. So as I kind of alluded to before, right? This right here is the Adidas Ultraboost CC2 in some kind of orange something colorway. Orange Rush, I think is what it was. Whatever, doesn't matter, right? It'll be right in the title. So there's that, right? Now, this one right here, what was this called? This was, I don't know, some kind of gray color. Whatever, doesn't matter either. But just got to get you guys a picture or two so you kind of know what we're talking about and all that good stuff. So first off, we'll do the comparison first. Why not? And then I'll get to the review thing because I feel like the comparison will be easy to get through and then I can just put these to the side. So, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this stuff, and I'll come back to all the pictures in a bit. Down around the toe box, right, there's some differences down there. One of them isn't so easy to notice unless you get really close in there, right? So for one, it's a slightly different design, like on these here. But on the two, this plastic piece at the end, it's a lot thinner. It's more like just a thin overlay now, kind of like when you see something on like the weatherproof shoes or whatever. This one feels thicker, right? So that's an advantage going on over here. Then moving up to the side, of course, I mean, it's a totally different design when you look at it. Flipping around to the inside, same sort of thing that you saw on the outside is mostly on the inside, right? This one, the newer ones, they just kind of don't have that cage sort of thing going on anymore, which is a little odd in a ways, because like that's, where the branding is, like the three stripes, right? And then getting on around to the back and all that good stuff, obviously, like you'll notice that these were designed more like the 19s, 20s, 21s, all that. Well, 19s and 20s, not the 21s. And this is designed more like the DNAs, right? So like the Ultraboost 1 through 4 style boost. So you're not going to have as much on here, which means it's overall not going to be as comfortable as these in the sole part, right? So I'll come back to all that stuff later, maybe. But if I don't, I've said it already. So hopefully if you're looking for information on these, you just watch the whole video. It's the thing I often suggest. And then as far as the heel and all that good stuff goes, same sort of thing. You have that design that you had years ago, and on this one, you have the one that you had years before that. So there you go. And some white thing going on the back for whatever reason. But past that, that's kind of like the differences there. And I will say also that these, for some of the obvious differences, like the whole extra boost and all that good stuff, they are a little heavier in the back side, right? So there is that piece. Overall, like the front, they feel about the same. They just feel real back heavy on this particular pair. But these are like super light, so don't take it as these being like a boot, is what I'm saying. It's just that this thing is like air light, So there's that. It's kind of like the SL20s, You compare anything to those, they're always going to feel heavy. But so that's pretty much what's going on. And then at the top, you have a slightly different tongue area going on because, like I said, this is built off of the earlier boost. This is built off of the later boost, the Ultra Boost that is, the design. So you got that going on. But past that, I don't remember seeing much of any differences. Obviously, the bottom is going to be different, but that's to be expected. So that is pretty much that, right? So now we can go ahead, we can push past that. If something comes back to mind, I'll get back to it or whatever. But I'm just going to go and press on like the normal rest of the structure that I generally have. So that's going to be like all the review stuff, right? So let's do that. Starting with the bottom down there, what you're looking at, it's pretty much just going to be like your standard outsole that you have on the older style, like 1 through 4 of the Ultraboost, or the DNAs, of course. So it's nothing you probably haven't seen. Moving on back up to like this midsole section, that also very much a familiar face, right? It is colored, which is a thing that you don't see a whole lot of, but they're doing a little bit more of it nowadays. But for a long time, it's all just white and that was it, right? So I do like that piece of it. And now getting you guys those pictures in here of like the overalls and whatnot, right? So checking it out from like the angles, different angles and all that good stuff kind of helps you get a better picture for the shoe and whatnot. Though there are a lot of pictures in my standard reviews, so you'll probably have some good shots by the end of this to let you know how this thing really looks, if it's for you or not. Because I will say, like, the visual is definitely not for everybody. I said the same thing about the last year model. But anyways, moving on past that, I think we're good on that stuff. So let's go jump down in here, get these details knocked out so I can go to work. Like actual job work, not like work here. So anyways, down here, toe box area, right? You got this plastic sort of thing going on. It's not my favorite piece to this, and I might not remember to say this later, so I'm gonna say it now. This little piece here, I think it kind of has a negative impact on the way the shoe feels in this region, like the toe region, right? Because on a normal Ultra Boost or whatever, like the ones I just talked about, those 22s, on the normal style, right, when this is all just prime knit, you don't have anything really holding anything down. Everything's just kind of like free to move and expand and conform to your foot. When you have this plastic piece holding down the knitting, it kind of, to me, right, and this is fresh out of the box, it might break in, whatever, but fresh out of the box, kind of felt like it was like pressing down, like from the top down on your toe, like the big toe mostly, right? So wasn't a huge fan of that. The length of the shoe was fine, right? So I feel like if I got a different size, that it'd have too much room and I wouldn't like it. So I'm hoping that just kind of breaks in, or I just stop noticing it, but it is something to think about. Anyways, moving on past that to the rest of this top toe box area, right? Much like you had in the last one, it's not the same knitting style, but it's still like that very thin, very holy sort of thing. Not like church or whatever, but holy in the sense that there's holes in it. So you got that happening. And so moving on past that, right? Actually, you know what? I was going to mention some irrelevant story, and I was like, no, that's irrelevant. I'm going to mention it anyway. So this past weekend, right, Father's Day, I'm down at my mom's house, right, because I took them this WrestleMania poster. It's the same size as like my Undertaker poster, right? If you've seen me next to that, you know what I'm talking about. But it was for WrestleMania, because like we all went. It was my dad's first one. Thought he'd like it. It's got the Cowboys themed colors, right? And I'm like, hey, I got you guys this poster. She's like, oh, wow, cool. Like, I know right where it's going to go. And I'm like, oh, she's already got a place that she's got in mind, because I didn't know where they were going to put it. I just figured I'll buy it. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to take down Jesus. And I was like, oh, wow. It's like my mom's kind of like on the religious side. I'm like, well, then, if you're going to bump down Jesus for Undertaker, Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels, that's pretty bold. Like, she must really like this poster, But anyways, yeah, bringing up holy stuff, it made me think of that. So, but like I said in some little Instagram thing, that version of Shawn Michaels was basically Jesus anyway, so it's kind of like, you're just switching out one for another, right? So on the side here, right, you have the same sort of thing that you had on the previous one, and that it's like very, very open, right? It's just a different design. But it's also very plasticky feeling, which kind of like those mono mist 350s and mono ice 350s, kind of has that sort of thing going on. But in this case, it makes sense, right? I'm not sure which one I prefer, because like neither one looks great to me between these, but functionality is usually where these shine. So anyways, you got that whole thing going on, got you some pictures in there, so I think we can move on past that. Back to this back third of the shoe, we got this here standard style heel cup and all that with like the Ultra Boost on the side. On the very back, not sure what's going on with this thing, this little white piece there, but that's there. That's kind of new to me. So if you've got any kind of idea or insight, or you just want to make your best guess as to what that might be for, go ahead and let me know. If you're right, maybe I'll pin it. If it's creative, I'll definitely pin it. But anyways, past that, right, I think that kind of covers all that stuff of the shoe. So let's jump back over to the front part, knock out these laces. These laces are freaking strange to me, right? I don't know what's going on here. It kind of reminds me of like the laces in a way that you might see on, the Air Max Pluses, where it's like, it's not completely flat. It's not quite round either, because they've got like an edge to them. but they're also like a lot thinner on this particular pair, right? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but for me, like when it comes to laces on Ultraboost, they're generally just for show anyway, because like the shoe doesn't really need them in most cases, at least not to me, right? Because you just slip them on and that's it. I think I tied them the one time and then never touched again. Anyways, going back to the laces and stuff, getting closer in here, you can see it's kind of like an orangish white with like an orange siding and then like orange on the tips and all that good stuff. So you got that going on, just your typical stuff otherwise, right? And then behind that, behind the laces and all that, you got some more holes in there. So you got a little bit more breathability from the design, more so than you had on like the previous one. So I will say that. Then as you get to the top, this thing feels very strange. I didn't touch it until actually right now, and I don't know that I like how that feels. It's weird. It's almost like it's like a plastic feel, like it's like filled with like, I don't know, some sort of gel, but like it's strange to me. It's just strange. But either way, it says Climacool, in case you didn't catch that, or in case you just can't read or something, to kind of give you a little help there. And then, like I was saying before, same style as like older Ultraboost 1 through 4, right? With the whole thicker style going on up here. A normal one-piece sort of thing. Looking on down onto the inside, because we are done with the outside, there you have in plastic waste, because they're really against plastic waste, right? I don't know what percentage of plastic waste went into this shoe. I don't look that stuff up anymore because there was a time when it used to be like a new thing they were doing. Now they just do it all the time, so it's not new, right? It's like just what you expect, so I don't care. But I do like the planet. It's where I keep my stuff, so I'm glad that they're doing stuff to like make it better or last longer or something. But since I'm old, like I probably only need to have it around for so much longer. For you guys that are younger, good luck. Anyways, so on the inside, that's blacked out, right? And then looking down here, the rest of it, you can kind of see there's probably going to be like a lot of light shining through and all that good stuff, because these things are super thin and they're very holy, like Shawn Michaels. And so, moving on past that, I think we're good as far as what's going on the inside, because it's all just your standard stuff that you've seen before. I just like to get you some pictures. Now, that's done. I'm going to talk about some personal thoughts on these. Personally, right? The color, super into it. I saw these and I was like, this is the one. I almost bought this blue pair. Then I saw these and I'm like, oh, get that out of the cart. Get it away. It angers me. I want this one. So this is the one that I got. And I am pretty cool with it, right? The design of the shoe, I knew that I was going to be on the fence with that, because the visual is just, like I said, it's not for everybody. But like I said again about the previous one, I didn't care much for it either. But when it comes to like functionality and what these are built to do, which is be light and breathable, dude, like they totally excel in that range, right? So I'm cool with that. So I got these in. This was honestly my first time really looking at them, because if you saw the Instagram unboxing, it was brief. So now looking at them up close and all that good stuff, they're not as jarring as I thought initially, or maybe it's just because I've looked at them for like the last 15 minutes at this point. But I think I'm okay with it. I'm not going to say it's bad or anything. And I really like this color, so that helps a lot. But yeah, I think I've said enough. I don't know if you're talking to the camera or to the video while you're saying, like, like when people are in movies and they're always yelling at the screen. Does anybody do that when you're watching YouTube videos? That's weird if you do. I would say no, and just keep that shame to yourself. Either way, I think we're good on the personal thoughts, right? Got a little rambly towards the end, but I get a little rambly all the time. So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about some size and some comfort, and we're going to wrap this long freaking video up. Sizing wise, I bought these in a 9.5 because my foot size is 9.5, and a lot of this stuff tends to be a true to size fit. This is. Now, I did mention some stuff earlier in the video about this plastic thing. If you missed it, go back and watch the rest of the video. I don't know what to tell you. I could repeat myself. Not a fan of it. Anyways, I'm not a fan of repeating myself, that is. Because, why bother? Anyways, so going on in here, looking at this as far as how it feels and all that stuff. Like once you get your size nailed down and whatnot, this right here is very comfortable, right? Now, is it more comfortable than like any other Ultraboost? No, it's not, because it's built off the older ones. And like the newer ones have like the extra boost in there. It's just a whole thing, right? They've got like more streamlined upper to kind of like hug your feet in the right places and all that good stuff. But it's still going to be like a really good experience. It's kind of one of those situations where it comes down to what makes sense for the moment, right? So if you're out there and you're just gonna be wearing these casually because you're walking around Busch Gardens or something, or wherever, whatever amusement park might be near you, this is gonna be a good choice because again, super comfortable in the midsole because it is the Boost. And then the upper is crazy breathable. It's also very light because it's so thin. And then, like I was saying, with all the extra air that's getting in through there, the holes and all that good stuff, there's less shoe overall, which helps it be lighter, right? So that's why I kind of talk these up. If you can get past the look and if you can find the color that you like, this is totally worth checking into, especially when they're on sale as they are right now. Like I said, $130 or so I think I paid for these. Not bad at all. Will they go lower? Probably, because I don't see them selling a whole lot. I just don't see it. So I'd be patient, but I'd at least keep your eye on them. That's kind of my take on these. But yeah, totally super comfortable and definitely something that I would suggest to anybody that's needing a comfortable shoe. So there you go. That's my take on these. I believe I've covered everything and a little bit more, right? Or a whole lot more, because I feel like this video was longer than it needed to be. But most of them are longer than they need to be. That's why you can skip and whatnot to the end if you need to. You just miss stuff. Either way, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to take some pictures for a pro wrestling crate thing, and then I shouldn't be able to get to work on time. So that sounds all right to me. Later, people.